So I will be kicking things off with our nice, serene homepage where we've kept everything nice and tidy. Firstly, I'm presented with my recent dashboards that give me quick access to the most common dashboards that I've been using lately. Secondly, here on the feed, I see the most important communication that has been going on regarding myself or my user on the platform. So, for example, there's been some commentary going on, and my colleague has actually left me a question about my year-to-date actuals compared to the budgets. This represents the collaboration part of Naviloq, and I will come back to this towards the end of the demo, and you'll see how I can actually answer my colleague regarding this question. So you can access all important functionalities through the main menu here on the top left corner. So we have kept ease of use, user-friendliness, intuitivity as key focus in the design of our new user interface. So here you see all the important stuff. To begin with, your shortcuts to your favorite dashboard pages, as well as different workspaces, tools for data management, and the different libraries and designers that you have, both for reporting and planning. Beginning with shortcuts, here's one of my favorite dashboards, surprise, surprise, the financials overview. And this represents really, really well our key focus in finance. And Naviloq provides you multiple different types of financial reports out of the box, ranging from different types of P&Ls to balance sheets, and for example, to cash flow reports. We're also offering content account related to receivables out of the box for you. This way, you get to work with something already within days and instead of months. And on top of that, we will naturally customize the content to meet your specific needs. But if Naviloq is finance focused, it's not at all, or by no means finance restricted. And it has been made to actually serve all stakeholders within the organization. And the way to do that is actually through workspaces. And through workspaces, you have the possibility to create dedicated and tailored views for different stakeholders, ranging from finance to management group, or to sales, or for HR for that matter. So you're able to import data from any data source into the built-in data warehouse and fill the different workspaces only with the content that is actually of interest to the user group in question. And you can make the dashboard speak their language. You're able to restrict the user access between the different workspaces, even at a dimension level, so you can be safe in the knowledge that users can see only the content that they're actually allowed to see. So just an example of a more dedicated workspace is the sales workspace. So here you can clearly see that this is only showing content that is of high interest to the salespeople. So we're not showing financial information here in a sense. We're just focused on sales, the top 50 customers in the current period, some comparison to previous months in terms of the sales across the customers, top 4 customers rolling over 12 months, and so on and so on. But then in terms of the self-service and how able you're actually, or how easily you're able to create new content. So let's just access a workspace and let's start. Let's just testing out how easy it actually is to incorporate all the different functionalities that Naviloq provides you. So here is just a standard reports workspace, and I can just turn on the edit mode. And already I can start playing around with all the content. I'm going to go ahead and just create a new page on the workspace. And I can just rename it to be page number 1, like so. And then I can start adding any content that I like. Again, in Naviloq, there are no artificial boundaries between the different functionalities of the solution. So I can go ahead and start adding firstly a visualization of my data. For example, EBITDA actuals, simply by clicking add. Here's my visual. And then if I like, I have the complete freedom to also add a planning table here right on the same dashboard. So let's just go ahead and add the fixed costs planning template right underneath this. This way, Naviloq gives you like the ultimate level of flexibility when it comes to creating content. You have all the options available to you always at your fingertips, and you can always start with the same blank canvas and start building exactly what you need, compared to other traditional software where you have like different spaces for your different functionalities. A certain place for your planning templates and a certain place for your reports. So we can also move the content around freely and make the content larger and or smaller, and just make the space look like as we want within the grid that has been provided to us. But that's in terms of the just editing the workspace content. Then again, if I'm just going to leave this edit mode, if you want to start editing an existing report, that happens also via no code. I can just simply click this profit and loss comparisons report and start editing the report directly, which will save all the changes that I've made, or I can open it to Analyzer, which will allow me to do ad hoc analysis on the report. I can change what the report looks like. I can change the data it is showing, but none of those changes that I make will be stored. This way, you don't need to actually first export the data into Excel, or although you can very well do that with Naviloq, but you can do ad hoc analysis here on the same platform. So all the features in terms of editing reports and opening to Analyzer are actually the exact same. So if I'm going to show you the edit report view, you can see already that there's a bunch of stuff important to finance here right out of the box. You know, stuff like cumulative actuals, comparisons between previous year and budget, and so on and so on. Naviloq also natively recognizes concepts important to finance, for example, reporting periods and fiscal years and charts of accounts and so on, making it this an ideal tool for you to use day to day. Then in terms of one example of the no-code functionalities are the formula members that you can easily edit here just by clicking through in the user interface. So here we have different types of calculated members from EBIT to gross margin, and you can just simply create new ones by clicking the plus icon, and you can use our wizards to create these calculations instead of having to write down code to make these calculations happen. So you can use just the wizard to write down your code and then just simply select where you want to actually display this calculated member on the report or on the P&L. As easy as that. And even all the planning templates can be edited via the user interface with no code. So right in the user interface, you're actually able to create quite complex planning formulas already without our support and without any programming knowledge. But how do all these different functionalities then look from the perspective of an end user? So let's just pretend for a while that I am actually the leader of certain business units. I can access my dedicated workspace through here. It's one of my recent dashboards. And this is a view that has been customized to meet my needs specifically. Here you can see that I have different reports around profit and loss, then some customer group reports, And then finally, 3 different planning templates, which I will come back to in a minute. So these different reports have been deemed to be important for me. So here I should take a look at my actuals and my forecast, and then also my budget. I have a P&L comparison here showing my actuals compared to year to date, to previous year to date, and to budget. Visuals ranging to EBITDA, and also vast amounts of historical data on past performance, firstly broken down to quarters and then to the reporting periods themselves. Again, showing our focus in finance being able to detect these different time periods. Then if I take a quick look at the customer group reports, easily, nicely readable waterfall charts showing me how the revenue is actually being broken down across the different customer groups, and ending in EBITDA analysis. We are also able to incorporate data bars in all of the table visualizations, so you can easily see where the major differences are coming from. But what makes Naviloq truly different from other solutions in the market are the comprehensive built-in drill down tools that you can actually use to find insights easily. So again, we are all about empowering every user to be able to make insights. So you don't even need to start creating your own reports like I just showed you how you can edit them with no code. You can just simply use the built-in analysis tools to find the answers that you need. To begin with, if I would like to know that if I'm looking at the total revenue for November, I can see that is the highest month in terms of total revenue. I might wonder, okay, how has been this revenue split across the different business units? I can just simply click on the data point and choose the drill down tree option. So it will first show me the total value, and I can then actually break this into by any attribute in my data. So be it business units or something else. But in this case, I was interested about my business units. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the business unit name over here. And this will break the total amount into the different business units. And I can see that the organization C was actually the best performing business unit. Then if I take another look at the data, I can see that February, there is actually a huge drop compared to January. And I might wonder, what is causing that? I can then choose the drill down analysis function to show me the trends in my data. And again, this number has been, or total number has been split across the different business units. And I could also change the comparison period. I was interested about the previous period, but I could also change the analysis to show the comparison to previous year forecast, or even compared to my budgets. Also, the trend can be changed over here to show different time periods than months. And I can also change the number of preceding periods in the trend visualizations, like so. Now we're showing only 6 months. But here we can see that, oh my God, organization A has been performing really, really badly compared to the previous period. So I can actually highlight this analysis, and I can share this in my chat groups to other users. For example, in the business unit chat group, and I can ask other users to comment on this. For example, I can ask my colleague Nora to comment on this, and I can paste what is going on, and I can actually paste my finding, the drill analysis, on the chat group, and I can also notify Nora by email as well that I've actually made a question to her. And I can just post this question to Nora, and then she can see the exact view that I was looking at with my question. And this also leads back to the question that I saw on my home dashboard in the beginning. there was a question left by my colleague here about the budget comparisons. Damo has asked me, could you explain where differences between year-to-date actuals and budget come from? And here, Damo has actually included explain change snapshot here, showing me the explain change that he made when he did an analysis on the actuals versus budget. And how Demo actually achieved this, we can actually replicate this by actually showing the exact same functionality here. If we just take a look at the year-to-date actuals that are actually over budget, we can simply drill down over here and choose explain change and choose to compare it with our year-to-date budget. This is something that has been very, very frequently requested, so you can easily see through this analysis what attributes in your data are best explaining the change compared to your budget. But then we also support planning inside the same workspace. So here we have a PLL planning model. So in Naviloq, you're able to do planning top down or bottom up. You get to choose, meaning that we are able to start entering numbers on an account level if we want, but there are multiple different features that make actually your top-down planning really, really easy. So let's say we want to do a quick forecast update and just increase the total amount of turnover by 10% in this latest forecast. I can go ahead and directly start typing in a formula here in the cell. So 1.1 times the previous amount that I had, and click enter, and it will automatically increase the total amount of revenue that I'm forecasting. I could also choose one of the default allocation methods that we have, and I can input the total amount based on my previous year actuals, so that it will automatically take into account the seasonality in my data. So I could do again the same. I could then also increase the total number by another 10%. And then this total amount will be, oh, sorry, that was a mistake that I made, will be, let's just try that again because I made a mistake. For example, by 90 million, like so, and it will be distributed according to the relations in the data based on previous year's actuals. And all these changes will automatically be reflected in my reports in planning or in reporting. And that's the beauty of having both planning and reporting on the same cloud platform. I can always click undo, and you can see the changes reflected. You can see that we also support multiple different versions in planning. So this means that you're always able to create new versions, and this allows you to easily do rolling forecasts and scenario modeling as well, as easy as that. And different planning templates can be used to fill data to your other planning models. For example, you can create a separate template for your salary planning. Here we have a different template just for personnel costs alone, broken down by employee level. And all this data that I enter here will be automatically guided into my P&L, or ultimately into my cash flow if I would have a cash flow forecast in place. So here I can start making edits to the individual salaries of my employees. So I might know that salesperson number 3 might be expecting a salary increase in May. I can just type in 4,500 as a salary increase over here. And if I want to reflect this salary increase for all the future months as well, I can just simply right click and choose repeat values to the right. And then automatically all the months have been updated with the new salary. We have also the possibility to create different types of automated calculations. And here as an example of that, all these social security related costs are automatically calculated once I've updated my new personnel costs. So making Social Security cost planning really, really easy. And then finally, there's an example in terms of product sales. So here I have all my different product groups, their sales based on previous year, and then a margin calculation. And I could also alter top down the total amount of sales expected for a certain product group, but I can also change the expected margin for a single product group, and it will automatically calculate the direct costs related to that product group. So there's really no limit in terms of the calculations that we're able to have in place. And we are, for example, more than equipped to do driver-based planning based on all of your different data sources to make your planning process really, really easy. But all in all, these were the highlights of the demo of the most frequently requested functionalities that we've implemented. Now it would be a good time to start going through your questions that you might have come up with during the presentation.